Welcome to Tuesday Travel Chat with Go Travel. I'm one of your hosts, Julia.
And I'm Bob, the other host.
Today we're talking about Odyssey of the Seas with Royal Caribbean and their fabulous Southern Caribbean sailings that are coming up. We have some amazing specials that you can't get anywhere else, only with Go Travel. We're about to talk about all of that, but first, let's do some news. Bob, let's hit it. What is going on? Let's do cruise updates.
Cruise update. The interesting thing is that there are now around the world 200 cruise ships that are sailing with guests, not doing test cruises, not doing just circling because they have to circle. There are 200 cruise ships with guests sailing as of September 2021. Most cruise lines expect to be in full service no later than January or February of 2022. It's nice to see that.
And Bob, I know if you're watching the news, occasionally you'll see a headline that a cruise line pulls out a ship or two. But I want to say overall, more ships are just continually being added into service as opposed to the other way around. The headlines don't always reflect what we're seeing in the real picture.
The reason for that, the ships are being pulled out. Primarily, they're taking them out of service. They have an opportunity to get them into a dry dock so they can even make them more fabulous. That's a lot of the reasons why they're taking them out of service at this point.
That's awesome. And I know you were also mentioning today that the most cruise lines are superseding what the CDC suggests as far as their protocols.
Yes, most cruise lines have already exceeded their protocols in terms of air exchanges, in terms of protocols on board, in terms of testing, in terms of so much going on. The CDC suggests and the cruise lines enhance. That's the best way to say it.
They're always at the cutting edge.
And you're seeing it in the statistics. You're not seeing that many cases of COVID, and most of the ones that are happening are very mild cases, but they are reported to the CDC. It's probably the one environment in the world in travel, aside from a hospital, where you really get true good statistics.
Absolutely. Well, let's jump over to Europe. I know that there's been a lot of news over the past week about the EU. The important thing is those were suggestions made by the EU to each country, but each country has autonomy to decide what they want to do. Those were suggestions, and now the countries are deciding and thinking about. The key is keep in touch with your travel advisor because they will be up to date on each particular country. Some countries are not reacting at all. No. Some countries are. Some it's for more for the vaccinated, less for the unvaccinated. It depends on the country. But don't get concerned about all of Europe by just one headline because it really is country by country, and our advisors can advise you more on that. But something happened with Venice this past week.
Yes. Well, Venice has done two things this year. For the first in the middle of the year, they announced that large cruise ships are not going to be able to enter Venice Harbor. The impact going the Grand Canal was really undermining the city, dropping off. If 3 ships came in with 4,000 passengers each, that was 12,000 guests coming into the city, just overwhelming it. And to further this, what they have also added is for people who come across the causeway into Venice from the mainland to do a day trip, you're now going to have to pay an entry tax anywhere from, I believe, 8 to 11 euros per person, depending on the season. And you'll do that online before you get there. And they're actually going to have turnstiles that you go through over in the Via Roma, which I think you remember where the Via Roma is, where all the ships and buses come in and drop everybody off to go over that glass bridge. So yeah, you're going to be paying a tax if you're a visitor. People in the hotels, no. Residents, no. Students, no.
Well, and let's face it, Bob, who goes to Venice for the day? I mean, especially for Americans, if you're going to go to Venice, you're going to go all the way. You're going to be staying there. Right. But this is just another example of little things, tweaks to keep in mind. A lot of just constant changes, and an example of what we saw this past week.
It's because Venice is an outdoor museum. And that's how they're looking at it. You pay admission to get into museums. The same situation.
Sure. And just north of us, some news going on with Canada.
Canada, yes, Americans can drive into Canada. It's wonderful now. We can drive across the border. I seem to have frozen for some reason. Canadians Americans can drive across the border, fully vaccinated at this point, though. So yes, you can get across the border.
Not the other way around, I guess.
No,
but
not yet.
But hey, slowly but
US
surely,
is,
we'll get there. We'll get there.
yeah, the U.S. is fairly still restrictive, and I think that's why Europe is being so strict on us, because we're so strict on Europeans.
Exactly. In good news in New York, we're seeing New York open back up, and Broadway is back this month.
Yes, it is. They're doing it. Broadway is open. They're doing a lot of special. I keep seeing something about a special Music Man show, which is a fundraiser. Far From Away is opening. I see that on Facebook all the time. But the key is, it is open. A lot of the shows have redone their show to not have an intermission, to prevent that spread of COVID, or possibly COVID. So you're going to see a little shortened shows, no intermission, and different protocols in place. But Broadway is back. It's been closed now for almost 18 months. And I know someone who works on Broadway. They are so excited they got a job.
This is the only reason I go to New York, is to see those shows. We go matinee, we go evening, we go all of the, every time we can while we're there. And that's our most exciting thing. So this gives me another excuse to get back to New York for sure.
Very good news. Very good news.
Now let's jump across the world. It's cool to see some of the good news that's happening. Things are continually opening, and Universal Studios Beijing Resort is opening September 20th. People are so excited. It's just buzzing over there. It's super thrilled to get that going, and people are just so excited. So
for you park collectors, we can get you there.
Yes.
Julia used to live in Beijing too.
Yes, 2 years.
So she's almost a personal guide.
Well, that's our news for today. Let's switch over to the special that you have for us, Bob. Okay. In the meantime, if you do have questions about anything related to travel, but especially what we're covering today, today's special cruise of the week on Odyssey of the Seas, just write them in the comments and we'll try to address those live for you today. Bob, take it away. Tell us a little bit more about Odyssey.
Okay, well, the Odyssey, the reason we have special deals, but I'm going to talk about those in a minute. But the Odyssey of the Seas is the first ship of this type, and Royal Caribbean has 4 others, I believe. This is the first time one is sailing from Florida on a schedule for about 6 months. The ship is spectacular. To me, it's very celebrity-like in terms of its layout. Beautiful ship. We're going to show some pictures of it later. But the ship has some very interesting features. It's a standout. This is not your typical Royal Caribbean cruise. Here's some of the things that we're talking about. This ship has the North Star. North Star takes you up 300 feet, swings you out over the ocean, doesn't swing you. It goes gently around. You're not defying gravity. It's not a 1G force. You just swing around the ship, come back around. There's a view from 300 feet over. I've been on this. I've taken pictures. I was fortunate enough to be in this next to the Statue of Liberty. Eye to eye with the big green lady in the harbor. So this is a fascinating thing. There is a charge to use it, but it's one of those adventures that you might not have done before that's worth doing.
And I see also some of these amazing spaces inside.
Yes, entertainment. This ship is built for entertainment. The ship is built for people who like entertainment. This is probably the most interesting showroom on sea. At sea, the most interesting. It's called 270, Club 270. It's on the stern of the ship. During the day, it's a nice, lovely lounge, as you can see in the top picture. You don't see in the over onto the right. There's a restaurant or a place that serves wonderful salads and different type of very healthy foods, and people eat there. So during the day, it's sunlit. Windows go around almost 270 degrees. At night, where you see the windows, it becomes a projection screen that you will think is film, but it's all, I mean, it looks so real. It's like very high definition. So the entire curtains drop, the entire backdrop becomes one screen all the way. I'm sorry for using my hands, but it becomes a projection screen all across the back of the ship. People drop out of the ceiling, they come up out of the floor, they swing out overhead. It is all a very immersive experience done to perfection. It is probably the most exciting show you can do on this ship. This ship has a show called Ocean. There are people in water tanks suspended over your head. I just found that out. So
well, and this is an 8-night cruise that we're about to go into the itinerary and the dates and everything. Yes. But imagine 8 nights in a Cirque du Soleil style environment. Yes. You don't have to just go to one show and go to Vegas and see one show. No, you get 8 nights of this, and throughout the day when they're doing other types of activities in there. It's so cool.
It's a lovely ship, great ship to be on.
Okay. And then one more feature here is
these are the bumper cars. I grew up in New Jersey. I remember going down to the shore, which is also called the beach here, but the shore with the boardwalks. Bumper cars were ubiquitous everywhere. Every place had a 1930s style house or building that had bumper cars in it. You go in and play and bump around. They took that and put it on the ship. They have 18 bumper cars. This also turns into a basketball court. This turns into a couple of other things. You also have skydiving on this ship. So there's a lot to do on the ship. It's very adventuresome, but fun. So this is also great for families. Kids love the bumper cars. They have a great kids program as well. So
that was just a quick snippet. We've talked about Odyssey in the past. There's been a lot of hype coming up to this. It was in Israel, and then now it's coming over to Florida. So this is going to be a cruise out of Fort Lauderdale, right, Bob?
Yes, it is. Fort Lauderdale, 8 nights.
And this is something for you to think about. If you are looking for a deal, we have a fantastic deal. And what we're talking about is a minimum of $1,000 in savings compared to the current Royal Caribbean pricing today. So we're going to show you all of those dates and all of that. But let's jump into the itinerary. If you want to learn more about Odyssey of the Seas, call us. We'll tell you all of the amazing features. We don't have time to talk about all of that today. We would be here for an hour. But we're trying to keep this nice and short, let you know about today's special. So let's take a look at this itinerary. Here we go.
Here we are. Sailing from Fort Lauderdale. You have a day at sea, then you go to Grand Cayman. This is called Southern Caribbean because you are including islands further south than we typically go. But this is Fort Lauderdale, a day at sea, then to Georgetown. Then you have another day at sea getting down to Aruba, which is Oranjestad, the capital, and Curacao, which is Willemstad, the capital. Both very picturesque Dutch colonial type homes, colorful. It's outside of the hurricane belt. Now that in the spring, it doesn't mean much, but they're always temperate and the weather is almost always perfect. So it's a beautiful place to visit. A lot of people on cruises don't get there unless they're doing a 10 to 14 night cruise. So this is an 8-night cruise that will get you all the way down to the Southern Caribbean and then 2 days back to Fort Lauderdale. So 4 days at sea with the 3 ports of call. Lovely itinerary.
And the dates that we're talking about right now, January 29, this is all of 2022, January 29th, February 12th.
Which is Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, February 12th. You'll be at sea.
Yes, exactly. February 26th and then March 26th. So we have 4 dates with these amazing, amazing rates. Ballpark a starting rate around, Bob, what are we talking?
Well, okay. Our starting rate is about $1,000. Now, the $1,000 savings, I must preface this. This is all based on balcony cabins. The interior cabins and the ocean view cabins, the savings is not. We do have significant savings, but this is the hit you in the face pricing. We have basically for February 12th for Valentine's Day. You want to get away? This is all prices before the taxes, before port fees, and those are about $150 to $160. But I'm going to give you a comparison now. If you look at Royal Caribbean right now, balcony cabins are $21.56 a person. I just was on the website. That's where I got all these prices from. Our price before the taxes is $999. Wow. That is $1,257 less than what's currently being charged.
This is amazing. And you may be asking, how is this possible? Go Travel. This is what Bob and I do. We secure inventory well in advance, right when it comes out, so that we can secure rates, so that you can take advantage of deals like these even at a later date. This is just a fantastic deal, Bob. I'm excited about it.
The one thing I have to say, we are limited in terms of the number of cabins available. So don't think you can call in 3 weeks and that'll still be there. We are limited because we are only allowed to take so much group space. But when we fill it, it's sold out.
And 2022 is starting to really move, Bob.
Oh, yes.
It's taken so much time in obviously 2020, people were not cruising. Right. 2021, it's taken a while for everything to start moving. So there is just pent up demand. Yes. People are finally getting comfortable because they're finally getting to see people cruising with their own eyes. They're seeing the videos. They're seeing people come back. They're hearing from their friends. Right. So 22 is I think going to be really that big year that you're going to see a lot. So you want to get that secured right now.
Definitely.
Also, future cruise credits, Bob.
Well, a lot of people have future cruise credits out there. I know within Go Travel, we have 300 or 400 guests that have them that we are contacting to say, let's use them. So we're going to sweeten the pot. There'll be $100 onboard credit if you book by September 30th, and that's for any length cruise. That's an excellent deal. And I want to say, this can be combined where we have groups that have additional onboard credit or things like that. We may have something that's $75 credit, so you would have $175 onboard credit. There's a lot of things out there that you can use this for, and this just appears on there. It's yours to use on the ship. It's found money. That's the best thing about it. It's free found money.
Yeah, good reminder. No matter where you have booked, you can book it. Call us, and we can find you other deals like this. This is just an example. This is our highlighted deal of the week. But we have other amazing deals like this. But we saw this one. We said, oh, we've got to talk about this one today. Bob, we do have a question coming in from Dorothy, not about the Odyssey, but about our upcoming Elvis tribute cruise. That's upcoming February. Certainly. And by the way, if you're watching and you came to watch about the Odyssey today, hey, and you love Elvis, we have a beautiful Elvis cruise coming up in February. So that, maybe you came here for Odyssey, but you're finding out about Elvis. So I think Dorothy asked some interesting questions here. She said, is it going to be okay in February? Will it go? Capacity? What about big groups? I think she's asked a couple of great questions here.
Dorothy, we've actually been working on that right now. Royal Caribbean, our group space is protected. Those cabins have been taken out of inventory. Our group will be fine. They want us to go. We've been talking about it. The capacity is being kept low, which is a benefit for you guys because then the ship has fewer people on it to compete for space at the pool and things like that. But our group is protected. And remember, where our group has the shows, we will only be 1/3 of the entire capacity for that room for our shows. So you're okay. You're fine with it. Protocols have not been released yet, but I see the protocols getting reduced as we go in. We will keep you informed. As if you're already registered, we will be keeping you informed. As a matter of fact, look out for an email from us in the next day or two, just with a few little announcements, little housekeeping announcements.
Yes. I mean, this particular tribute festival group, we've been doing for 5 years, Bob?
5 years, yes. So
Royal Caribbean knows this group well. We love, this is one of our favorites every year. So, but those are some great points to bring up, talking about the capacity and how they will handle groups. Yes. It's handled the same way that they deal with all the passengers that they have on the ship, done safely, and the planning is always a continued coordination between us, the travel advisor, and our group and the ship. So,
and we've never met capacity for any of the rooms we've had before because Jason, Sherry, and Sherry Management and the tribute festival group keep the group small. They could fill up the whole thing for 900, 800 passengers. They don't do that. They do keep it smaller to be more intimate.
And that way that everyone has a chance to interact.
Yes, they do.
With the entire group and the performers as well.
Very well organized on board.
Yes. So again, we're about to head out, and we're going to show you one more video about the Odyssey. But in the meantime, just a reminder, connect with your travel specialist. If you already have an advisor with Go Travel, just reach out to them directly. Our entire team knows about these specials. If you do not have a travel advisor, just visit us at gotravel.com and we will connect you with a specialist either closest to your area or, based on the specialty that you are looking for. But like Bob mentioned, these deals will not be here forever. We only have limited space of the inventory that we took out originally. And we just want to make sure that you take advantage of it while you can and lock it in. Royal Caribbean has been so supportive, so flexible throughout these whole couple years. So if you book something and then you need to shift around, there's so much flexibility for maneuvering that. The key is to lock in that space because 22 is going to be a big cruise year. We can tell by all of the movement that we are seeing.
And just one last thing. We've talked about the quantum and our special rates and our special pricing. We have, in a lot of cases, and actually 1,900 different sailings that have group pricing. No matter what, if the individual pricing is better, we will get that to you. And if the group price is better, we'll tell you that too. So book with confidence and book early.
And more importantly, save that $1,000.
Yeah, save the $1,000.
You're
but when
looking
you
for the
have an
deal.
cruise for less than $1,000 in a balcony, if you're not jumping on board and it's Valentine's Day, even if you don't have a Valentine, just go. Send yourself candy. Send yourself flowers on the ship. Make people think you have an invisible friend. Go on, book it.
Hey, Galentine's, there's all kinds of reasons to be celebrating the Valentine's Day, right? Or maybe you'll find your Valentine on board.
Yes. Excellent.
Okay. Well, Bob, any final notes?
No, that's everything. I think give your agent a call. We'll get you on board.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. Thanks, Dorothy, for your question. We look forward to seeing everybody next week right here, Tuesday Travel Chat, live on Facebook and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to our channels, by the way. We have lots of fun content. In the meantime, we will see you next week. Enjoy this little picture of Odyssey of the Seas.
Thank you all.